We also need to have a simple SQL query to return a video that's on time. That's simply a matter of wiping out the rented to value and the due value, so the copy is essentially back on the shelf. We do this with an update query. The process for returning a late video in which the customer has paid the fine is different in terms of what we have to do as a user of the application to register this, but it acts in precisely the same way in terms of the SQL query. This is because no late fee has to be transferred to the customer's account, whereas if a customer were to return a late video without paying the fine, then we need to run essentially two queries. First of which does exactly the same as the previous one, to put the copy of the video back on the shelf, and the second query returns the exact figure for the late fees in the customer's table, in the unpaid column. And here the 4.5 is actually should be a variable there, and that would be something that would be returned by the application. If the customer were to come in and pay outstanding fines, perhaps before they want to go in to check out a video, then we would simply allow a query to set the unpaid column on the customer's account to 0. We also need to be able to locate video details in order to check out. To do this, we pull out from the copies table, the charges table, the films and the customers table. And again we're using a Unix timestamp function, and this is to get the customer's date of birth. This allows us to make sure that the customer is getting out a video that's suitable for their age group. Again, the criteria for the select query links the various tables and uses two integer variables to find the particular copy and the particular customer that's involved in the transaction. Finally, to check a video out, again this is a two-step process. We set up on the copies table, we set up the customer who has just rented the video, and for the due date we set that to using the date add function. We use the now function to get the current date, and then we add an interval of a certain number of days. The number of days is dependent on the status of the particular film, the copy of which the customer is checking out. New release can only be checked out for 1 day, whereas a standard release can be checked out for 3. Arbitrary figures, but that's what we've set for this particular application. We also need to include the employee as the rented by column. Then finally we have to set the fee for the rental to the customer's account. This will be paid for in the next round of the check in out script when the customer's unpaid is restored to 0. Here we're able to count the total of all the videos that have been checked out and the amount they cost, and we're able to add that to the customer's unpaid information. Let's take a quick look at the way this works within our application. If we go to the check in out page, we can see that there are two different ways we can search. We can either type in the video that's to be returned and hit find customer that way, or we can use this form at the top which will search for a particular customer. Say we just type in J, we want a strict search no, we're going to find the customer. As you can see, we're then offered 4 different customers and we can choose one of them. If we go into a particular customer's account. As you can see, this works as well with an HTML form, and we're able to mark videos as returned, and if they paid for them, we're able to make a note of that there as well. Let's say they returned all their videos and paid for all of them, then the total owing, $14, will be completely settled. Now we have no videos out and the total owing is 0. Wanted to check out a movie, we'd enter the ID number for the video there and hit the OK button. The video is found and the amount of money that the customer has to pay is registered here. At this point, the unpaid column in the customers table has been updated with the amount that they owe. When we hit the customer has paid button, then the unpaid is restored to 0. The issue of a strict or non-strict search can be shown over here. The customer's search is able to be qualified depending on whether we've chosen a strict search or not. That allows us to put in either AND or OR as the operator when we go to carry out that particular search function. So that's the procedure by which we check in and out movies. Once again, it's the SQL queries we're concentrating here, but feel free to examine the PHP script if you want to see exactly how it integrates with the application and you're familiar with PHP.